Good evening, this is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jarrod Horak, and this is the video feature race of the week. This week's feature race is going to be the Anita Handicap, and I'm joined by my Horse Racing Nation and Derby Wars Car League, Ryan Patterson.
Glad to be with you, Jarrod.
This is going to be a good race. We have a 10-horse field. It's going to be the 10th race from Santa Anita on Saturday, March 2nd. This is a Grade 1 race, 10 furlongs for 4-year-olds and up. A likely favorite in here is going to be a Game 1 Dude breaking from post 9.
Yeah, and he looks like he's just going to make an easy lead, and Smith will slow him down on the front, and it's going to take a very special horse to reel him in on a track where he's only lost once.
Yes, he does. He loves Santa Anita. He's 6 for 7. He's run, at 10 furlongs, he's run 7 times with 2 wins, 3 seconds. The only other horse with some early speed in here, drawn in post 2, is going to be Handsome Mike under Mario Gutierrez. He went out and he dueled for the lead last time in the Stroop Stakes. He ended up weakening. He won the Pennsylvania Derby last year. He does have some quality, but he's not as good as these.
Right, yeah, he could find himself in over his head class-wise, and a horse that certainly won't be in over his head class-wise is Ron the Greek, who is also a big cap winner.
Oh, yeah, and he romped last time in the Sunshine Millions Classic. It was a wet track. Mucho Macho Man was the heavy favorite that day. He ended up just not picking up his feet, but Ron the Greek loved the wet track, and he just rolled and entered a huge number.
Right, and as we all know, it's exceptionally hard to make up ground at Gulfstream, and Santa Anita might be the only place in America where it's even harder, and he's just going to have nothing to chase.
Yeah, that's true. There's not much pace in here, and he's going to probably be overbet off of that big win margin last time. A lot of times on these wet tracks, you get inflated win margins, inflated numbers as well, and then when they run on a different surface next time, they just can't duplicate it, and he's going to probably take too much action.
Right, and he could be a bounce candidate off that enormous 115 buyer speed figure.
Right, definitely can. Anybody else you see in here that could be an upset candidate?
You know, I think the chalk's going to be very hard. I don't expect any surprises here, but if there was to be a long shot to run big, I'm going to look to Clubhouse Ride. Rafael Bejarano is picking up the mount for Craig Lewis, and he was just second to Game On Dude. Granted, he was well beaten, but in that short field, the third place finisher was almost 14 lengths behind him. And he looks like he ought to be able to lay close, and I don't think there's anyone better in America at riding racehorses than Rafael Bejarano, so I would definitely have him on my exotic tickets at a big price.
He is interesting in here, and it is interesting that Bejarano does get aboard. We know that he handles the track, and he has that versatility where he can stalk or come from off the pace, and he's probably going to be sitting certainly within striking range throughout. Bejarano is going to put him in a position to succeed. It's just a question of is he good enough.
Yeah, I think he'll have the bottom to go the distance, you know, being by Candy Ride, who produced Twirling Candy and Sydney Candy. Candy Ride was a big cap winner, was he not?
He won the Pacific Classic.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Getting my California races mixed up. And he's out of a Seeking the Gold mare, so there should be plenty of staying power there.
It definitely should. Some others in here, Richard's Kid. He's getting a little long in the tooth now. He's an 8-year-old. He's coming off of a 10th in the San Marcos. I don't think he's conventional dirt's his best surface either.
Yeah, that's probably true, and Doug O'Neill, you know, for as great as he is, just can't seem to get him to run a good race.
That's true, and O'Neill also has Handsome Mike, who we mentioned earlier, is one of the speed horses. John Scott, a Calbred, is going to be running in this race.
Yeah, he's a super game horse. I love the way his last race he was headed in the stretch and kind of just said, oh yeah, you're not going by me. Came back on and won the race. That was great to see, and he's working up a storm. Numbers-wise, he's not quite there, but visually, I like what I see.
He's a neat horse. He's run well against graded company in the past. He handles turf, synthetic, dirt, anything you do, he's there. And he's got some running style versatility. In the past, I think he's gone out and set the pace. He's stalked the pace. He's come from off. So an interesting horse to at least throw in underneath, probably in your trifectas and superfectas. Stefanozzi for trainer Graham Motions in this one. He was second in the Stroop Stakes last time. And we also have our Stroop Stakes winner, Guilt Trip.
Right, and Stefanozzi was pretty much crushed by, wouldn't you agree, he was crushed by Called to Serve, who was shipping in for this race off of 2 easy victories with 2 big numbers.
Yeah, Called to Serve in this one, you're right, in the Discovery Handicap, Called to Serve beat Stefanozzi and Guilt Trip, and as we mentioned, they came back to run 1-2 in the Stroop Stakes, and he obviously has some quality, Called to Serve, coming off back-to-back wins. He won the Broad Brush Stakes at Laurel, a listed race, and then he won the Discovery. That was a graded race at Aqueduct, and he earned a big number last time. Gary Stevens is going to get aboard. He'll set a good trip. It's just a question of is he good enough. His numbers are going in the right direction. We know he's beaten horses of quality in the past, but Grade 1 company here, we'll have to see how he can do against Game 1 Dude.
Yeah, it's the acid test, and who better to have up in the irons than Gary Stevens. He's just lights out right now.
Well, definitely. Also, who do you like in this race?
I think, like I said previously, there won't be any surprises. Game on Dude, easy, buy as many as he wants. I'd throw Clubhouse Ride in there to get a piece.
I think if you're looking for an upset, maybe Called to Serve could be the one because he's going to sit a good trip. We know he's in great form. He's been pointing to this race. He's firing bullets. He's fresh. He's one of those, as we mentioned, that it's going to be sitting right behind the speed. Stevens will give him every opportunity to succeed. It's just a question of, is he good enough? So this race is going to be part of our big 20K game on Derby Wars, and then also on our Graded Stakes Survivor as well.
Right. It's a great day of racing at Derby Wars, and we're going to have all kinds of qualifiers between now and then. You can get in for as little as $12. First prize is 10 grand, so take a shot.
Oh, definitely. Also, you go over to DerbyWars.com if you want to play any of these games. And for Derby Wars players, if you were playing in this Derby Wars tournament, not the Greatest Stakes Survivor, but the other one, the Win Place 20K game, which horse would you take value-wise?
Well, it all depends on where it fits in the schedule and where I am in the standings. I really don't think you're going to beat Game on Dude, but that said, in a Win Place tournament, it's tough to pick a horse. It's probably going to be 6 to 5, and I think Clubhouse Ride, if something happens to the favorites, he'll be right there, and he could be, what do you think, 15 to 1, 20 to 1 maybe?
You're probably right. I guess Game On Dude for the Greatest Stakes Survivor pretty much looks solid for a top 3. If you're looking maybe for some upsetters, Ryan said Clubhouse Ride. I think maybe Called to Serve could make some noise in here. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. It was a pleasure doing it, and I'm sure we'll do more together.
Yeah.
And good luck at the races this weekend, and if you play Derby Wars, good luck there as well.